Patrick.
We recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Lucian. Welcome everybody to the April 2023 meeting of Manhattan Community Board 1's Land Use, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee. I'm Patrick Cannell, chair of the committee, along with our co-chair, Laura Starr, and our district manager of Community Board 1, Lucian Reynolds, is here. And I know we have CB1 chair, Tammy Meltzer, on as well. The first item on our agenda, well, we have two items on our agenda tonight. Neither one are voting items. First is an update from the Downtown Alliance, and then second is sort of an informational that Lucian will quickly present that's meant to sort of give everybody a primer and orient everybody for a couple of big land use applications that are going to be coming our way over the next couple of months. So with that, welcoming our friends from the Downtown Alliance for their quarterly update. Josh Nakowitz and Taina Prado from the Alliance. I'm not sure who's going to present first, but if you want to take over, your slides are up and ready to go.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. I think I'm going to start and then turn it over to Taina. I think I know most of the folks on the call, but just by way of introduction, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Josh Nakowitz. I'm the Senior Vice President for Economic Development at the Downtown Alliance. And I'm joined by the wonderful Taina Prado, who is our Chief of Staff here at the Downtown Alliance. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to give you a quick update on sort of where we are with the economic situation, sort of the overview of what the economy is looking at right now as we emerge from the pandemic here in 2023, and a brief overview of some of our upcoming placemaking projects, and I'll turn it over to Taina for some other updates. If you want to go to the next slide. So this quick market update, as everybody here should be aware, the Downtown Alliance collects a lot of data about all the different aspects of Lower Manhattan's economy, office leasing, residential development leasing, hospitality, and retail. And just before I get into this data, I just want to remind everybody that all of our reports and all the data that we collect is available for free online on our website. So we can go to the next slide, Lucian. So I'll start off with the most sobering news about commercial leasing, office leasing in Lower Manhattan. And the bottom line, there's really no way to sort of sugarcoat this here. The commercial office market still faces a lot of challenges and some very real headwinds. So a lot of the data that you're seeing here comes from our 2022 year in review report, which covers a sort of a cumulative look back at all of the market activity in 2022. We're currently in the process of collecting data for our first quarter 2023 report, but I can tell you right now, just the preliminary data will not substantially alter the overall picture and the big takeaways here. So 2022 leasing did recover a little bit. We thought about 3.1 million square feet of total office leasing throughout the year. Obviously, that's an improvement over both 2021 and the doldrums of 2020. The bad news is that it's still substantially lagging the 5-year quarterly leasing average. And even more troubling from our perspective, what recovery there has been in office leasing in Lower Manhattan has generally lagged the recovery in office leasing in the other two Manhattan office submarkets. So remember, there are three sort of primary markets for office leasing in the borough of Manhattan: Midtown, Midtown South, which is sort of Flatiron, Madison Square area, Union Square, and then Lower Manhattan. And the leasing that we have seen in the district really has been concentrated in the sort of Class A, what we're calling Class A sort of trophy properties, like the World Trade Center, Brookfield Place, and a handful of other very modern, sort of amenity-rich buildings that are easily accessible to transit. You might have heard the phrase flight to quality, which has been thrown around a lot by folks in the real estate world. That has definitely continued through 2022. And what we've seen is a really sort of sharp and dramatic bifurcation of the office leasing market between those newer, more amenity-rich buildings and the older sort of Class B and, if you will, kind of A- properties that are seeing substantial vacancy and some real challenges and headwinds with leasing up. We can move to the next slide. And that is, of course, reflected in the vacancy rates downtown, which are at their highest rate in history since the Downtown Alliance at least has been keeping track over the last 25 years. Our overall vacancy rate is about 22% in Lower Manhattan. As you can see from this chart, that's even higher among Class B properties. And I can tell you anecdotally, we've heard from property owners who have major presences in that sector of office product that vacancy rates are even higher, especially in certain parts of the neighborhood, like what we call the insurance district, which is sort of the area between City Hall and Fulton Street. Some parts of really sort of the heart of the center of the financial district, east of Broadway, are seeing vacancy rates in excess of 30, even 35%. And it's worth remembering that that Class B office product, those buildings that were built before 1975, account for about 60% of the overall office stock in Lower Manhattan. So the vacancy is definitely a concern. We've got about 20 million square feet of vacant office space in Lower Manhattan right now. To put that in context, that's a little bit more than the total combined square footage at Westfield and the current build out of the World Trade Center. And we're expecting about 6.6 million more square feet of leases to turn over to be set to expire in the next 5 years. So the picture is not great on the commercial office market. That said, as I mentioned earlier, deals are getting done. Tenants are moving downtown. We had some great news in the first quarter. That StubHub, the big ticket app, has signed a lease for about 45,000 square feet at 3 World Trade. So there is still activity in the market. It's just, if you talk to brokers, they'll tell you that they're grinding out deals. And it really is not easy to get people in at the moment. Everyone move to the next slide, Lucian. So that obviously gets to it. I know this is something that the committee wanted to discuss a little bit, residential conversions. Obviously, there has been a lot of chatter and a lot of talk about residential conversion as a sort of as a kind of almost magic bullet solution to the challenges that are facing the office market. We have not seen, obviously, Lower Manhattan is often sort of, you pointed out, as kind of the poster child of how you can build and how you can do residential conversions in a way that creates this sort of very vibrant 21st century mixed use district. Because something that we're very proud of. The Alliance has always supported residential conversion going back to the mid 1990s. Certainly the residential population in Lower Manhattan was absolutely critical to helping our small businesses and our retailers survive and get through COVID to the degree that they did. That said, since the pandemic started, we are tracking about 6 buildings that are slated for residential conversion. Some of the most prominent are on the slide here for New York Plaza, which you may also heard here referred to as 25 Water Street, which is being converted by Metroloft. And that's a huge building. It's about 1.2 million square feet. The program there is for about 1,300 residential units in that property. 55 Broad Street, which is owned by the Rudins, has been sold in a deal with Silverstein Corporation, with Silverstein Properties. And is also very, very likely to convert. We have a couple other buildings. 85 Broad has been talked about as potential conversion. And that building has traded ownership. 160 Water, which is next door to 180 Water, is currently in the process of converting. And we have 2 other buildings, 17 Battery Place and 90 John Street, both of which currently have a mix of residential and office use. And both of those owners are looking to convert most, if not all, of the remaining office space to residential use. So I know that this is a hot topic of discussion. There are a lot of different opinions on sort of where this kind of residential conversion wave is going to go. I would just say, from my personal perspective, and I think from a lot of sort of smart and sober people in the real estate world, would say to take a lot of this with a bit of a grain of salt. It is not easy to convert residential buildings. I'm sorry, to convert office buildings to residential, especially if you're looking at a neighborhood like Lower Manhattan, where a lot of sort of the low-hanging fruit of those sort of older 1920s, 1930s Art Deco pre-war office buildings have already converted, have done that a long time ago. You're now looking at properties that were developed in the 60s and 70s that have large floor plates and are really challenging to convert. So you need to have a whole sort of host of economic and architectural and regulatory issues all have to align in order to make a residential conversion work and to make that sort of pencil out financially. So I think I think, and we think at the Alliance that it is an important component of the future of Lower Manhattan. It's going to be an important tool for property owners to try to figure out how to take some of these older buildings that are really challenged as office buildings and figure out what to do with them and figure out a sustainable use for them moving forward. But I would caution folks not to just assume that any challenged building or any building with a lot of vacancy is just like that going to convert to residential. There's a lot of different factors that have to align to make that work. And if you can go to the next slide, Lucian. And a little bit better news, at least from the perspective of our small businesses in Lower Manhattan. Tourism, and I can also add pedestrian counts, have increased dramatically across 2022. We just released our 2022 tourism survey. We had about 12.1 million unique visitors. And just a reminder of how we do these definitions. Tourists are people coming from outside the tri-state area. So those are like real tourists who are visiting the city, probably staying overnight. We count unique visitors as anybody who is coming into Lower Manhattan that neither lives or works in the neighborhood. So those could be people who live in my neighborhood in Brooklyn who are coming downtown to have dinner or to, see something at Pier 17. It's sort of the overall visitor count for the neighborhood. The unique visitors are up almost 60% year over year, 137%, not surprisingly, from 2020. Tourism has recovered slower than sort of overall visitorship. I think the good news from a perspective of retailers and small businesses, and remember these, we really look at this and the visitorship and the people who are coming to Lower Manhattan as potential people who are spending money in the district, who are going out to eat, who are shopping at businesses, hopefully at small neighborhood businesses, and we always try to encourage visitors to do that. We have seen sort of the mix of international versus domestic tourists sort of revert back the mix has sort of reverted back much quicker to what it was pre-pandemic. And the mix of countries that are coming to the city has gone back to that pre-pandemic mix as well. And the reason that's important is because international visitors have a tendency to spend more time. They're coming from overseas. They're staying in the city 5, 6, 7 days as opposed to 2 or 3 days. And they're often spending a little bit more money, and sometimes they're more adventurous and more willing to go to sort of smaller, more interesting. They'll get off Broadway and sort of walk onto some of the side streets and explore the neighborhood a little bit more. I can also say that our pedestrian counts and our transit counts have all increased substantially over the course of 2022. And I think everybody on this call can experience that just walking around the neighborhood. The neighborhood certainly feels a lot busier than it did even a year ago at this time in April. We can move on next to our placemaking. So as everybody knows, we've been doing a lot of placemaking in Lower Manhattan. We started doing this pre-pandemic and have really sort of doubled down on this agenda and been making a real investment in doing these sorts of projects for a couple of reasons. Obviously, in sort of 2020 and 2021, we want to just do something to make the neighborhood look nice and look inviting. I also think we believe that this sort of place-based economic development is going to be more and more important as we move forward, as we no longer have, 250,000 private sector employees who have to, no questions asked, be in their office 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We want people to come downtown and see an interesting little performance at lunch or see a cool piece of art and think, this is a cool, interesting, vibrant neighborhood. This is a place that I would like to be proactively and spend some time and hopefully spend some money in our businesses. So we can go on to the next slide. We have a current project up at 140 Broadway. This is called Geo. We installed this in mid-February. It is going to be up, actually, we just extended it. It's going to stay up through early May. It's a beautiful design. It's sort of fun to walk through. I often see people taking their kids and kids sort of playing in it and walking through it. Lights up at night. It's a nice addition to the neighborhood. We've gotten great feedback from tenants at 140 Broadway and just from folks in the neighborhood who have enjoyed seeing this is also designed by a local New York City-based designer, How to Susan, which we love. And if you want to go to the next slide. And we can give you a little bit of a preview of what we're looking at for the spring. This is going to be launching in May, hopefully May 10th. We're going to have two installations. Both of these are sort of fun, playful, interactive art installations. One is Optic, which is going to be at Portland Way in between 3 and 4 World Trade Center. And the other, Rousseau, is going to be at the plaza at 200 Water Street. They're going to be up and installed from May 10th through June 21st. And we're planning on having a series of 6 sort of lunchtime small concerts, free concerts at both of these installations. We're working with a producer. It's going to be all jazz, different types of jazz, sort of derivatives of jazz. They're going to be at Wednesdays from 12 to more or less 1:30. Every Wednesday, basically for 6 weeks in May through July. We did a similar sort of concert series in the fall, which was a great success. We got great feedback from attendees. I think people really enjoyed it. Add a little fun thing to do in the afternoon. We'll make sure that we give everybody, once we have the schedule fully set and we know who the performers are, which we should have in the next couple of weeks, we'll make sure everybody's aware of that. And with that, I could turn it over to Taina.
Great. Thanks, Josh. So next slide. Great. So I wanted to sort of update you guys on our Downtown Connection bus. As this committee knows very well, we run the Downtown Connection bus service in partnership with the Abadi Park City Authority. We had plans to make some changes to the bus route to make it run smoother and easier for drivers. But then the pandemic hit. So inevitably, we had to pause those plans. At that time, I presented to the board what we were thinking of doing. And I'm sort of back today to report sort of what it is that we are planning to do this spring. Next slide. So this, what you see here, is essentially the change that we're looking to make or to request to make to DOT. And the main change to the route would be the elimination of the U-turn on West Street. On the left, you'll see the current, what the current route is. So the black line shows that the bus goes up West Street, has to make a left, make a U-turn, then turn again, and then go up. So by making, that's sort of the main focus, and the proposal obviously is to eliminate the U-turn. At the time when we presented this to the board a while ago, I got feedback from the committee at that time and some board members in support of that. Obviously, this makes the route much safer for the driver and riders, makes it more efficient, just makes it cleaner, essentially. And we predict and we estimate that making this change would improve the route and save riders at least 10 minutes on their ride. And instead of having to negotiate with all the traffic, on West Street. So, this is essentially the changes, what you see on the left to the right. There will be some stop adjustments that will need to be made. So if you look at the map on the left, this says current. They're going to switch one stop where B is going to go onto Murray Street just to make it make the route just run much better. So that's what we are planning to do. We wanted obviously to present this to you guys and to you all. I asked Lucian obviously to invite the Transportation Committee as well so they could see what we were thinking. We have not submitted these plans to DOT yet, but we would definitely like to do that this spring. The DOT runs on its own time schedule, time frame. Not sure when they actually would get this, approved for us. They have their own internal processes that tend to take longer than we would like, but we definitely want to get the ball rolling as soon as possible. Next slide. So this is a project that I wanted to sort of let the board know, the committee know about. Not sure how many of you know about the Port Authority project to extend the PATH train directly to the PATH train from the World Trade Center stop directly to Newark Airport. In March of this year, the port decided to make changes to that particular project. with no expected date to sort of resume it. If you take a look at the map, if you can see what they're planning to do, what they've proposed in March, and the commission approved, was to extend the path from Newark Penn Station, the yellow line here, and essentially make a stop from New York Penn Station to the airport, which is great for Newark. It's great for the area. It's great for Elizabeth, where people can have easier access to Newark, and whether it's to work or to fly. So these are all, we're very supportive of that project. But the Alliance and our board and our stakeholders have been very supportive and advocating very strongly to create a direct link from the World Trade Center stop on the path to the airport directly. If you see the blue line there, we essentially would want the path to be extended from Newark Penn Station directly to the airport. We were able to get support from the RPA, from elected officials at the time, and sort of this was put into the capital budget in 2014. And there has been, extensive planning, engineering, and community outreach for this project, and there's been support of it. Obviously, there are competing projects, and funding is always a challenge, but we really feel strongly that this is still a project that should continue to move forward, especially so much time and effort and money has been invested. So my point of bringing it up tonight with you guys is really just to give you an update to tell you this is happening. To let you know if you guys didn't know, and to encourage you and ask you really to lend your support if you can to the Port Authority, to sort of keep it moving forward, not to defer it too long, to sort of recognize that, Lower Manhattan sees the value of having a direct link from Lower Manhattan to the airport. So, I mean, I don't know how much the committee communicates or meets with the Port Authority, but I wanted just to mention it to you guys as something to keep on your radar. Next slide. The next couple of slides I have are just some sort of fun events that we're doing in the district, in the neighborhood, I wanted to share with you. So on Thursday, April 20th, we're partnering with FOSUN of 28 Liberty for a volunteer cleanup event at Bowling Green Park from 10 a.m. to 1. If anybody would like to come to help clean up the park, you're more than welcome to. It's just in time for Earth Day. The email information is there if you want to respond to attend, just to please put your name and affiliation, in this case, community board or resident, and just to please put in the subject line park cleanup. We're doing this in partnership with FOSUN, and we think it's a sort of a nice, fun community event to make the park look more beautiful than it already does. Next slide. So I'm not sure if you folks know, earlier when we were talking, I did mention that our space at 150 Broadway LMHQ closed. And since then, we've tried to sort of provide free, whether either virtual or in-person events, to keep sort of some of the community that we created and was very involved in the space, keep it going as best as we can. Our next event, which is in person, is going to be on April 25th. Discussing the law that was recently passed by the city and state, enacting and requiring employers to include pay salary range in all their advertisements for jobs. The team has assembled an interesting panel of women to have the event and have this discussion. So we invite you to attend if you want. The RSVP is there. There is, I think, a very nominal fee, like a $5 fee that goes to a nonprofit to donate funding. So we've done some other events at 28 Liberty, movie nights, Alamo Draft House. So we'll continue to let you guys know that, to share that with you folks. And lastly, last slide, Lucian. Yes, the last slide is a fun event. Actually, my favorite event of the year is Dine Around. It'll be on June 6th on the plaza at 28 Liberty. It's always a fun event. I always tend to see a lot of you folks there on the community board coming to eat, so that's great. One thing I learned is that we've been running this event since 1997, way before my time, and it's one of the city's longest running food festivals, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's that's what I wanted to report on. And obviously we're available to take any questions or,
Thanks, Hannah. I have a quick question about the PATH Train project,
Sure.
and then we'll open it up to committee member questions.
Great.
I'm just wondering if that might be something that if you guys know enough about it or could point us to who might be the proper presenter, that it could
Yeah.
be presented to the transportation committee or presented to even the executive committee if you're looking for a
Yes.
resolution and support. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. We would love for you to do that.
So, so we'll work on that in the
Yes.
background. Alice, I think you're up first. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was exactly my question, Patrick, was I was going to ask if I could move to consider a resolution by the community board at an upcoming meeting. So it sounds like we are. So
Yeah.
that's great. I did have 3 other areas. Thank you. First of all, nice to see you. Uh, um, and this is probably to both of you or to Josh, I don't know. How many units of housing are in the 5 buildings that you've described or that seem like they're underway? I mean, and I guess, can you give us a time frame? I mean, there's a tremendous amount of, conversion going on, and I'm delighted that you reviewed it a little bit with us, but I'm just curious of the number of units, the timing of this, and what aspect, if any, is affordable, and how is the Alliance, if at all, trying to figure out a way to make them affordable?
So to answer your first question, Alice, the timing is TBD for pretty much all of these buildings. I do know that some of the work I would take all of this with a little bit of a grain of salt. The folks at Silverstein have tentatively said 2026 for 55 Broad Street, but again, these dates slip on a regular basis. The rest of those properties, I don't have a clear date. 160 Water is currently under the process of converting. They're expecting to be leasing those units sometime in 2025. And that really is the one building where it can give you a set unit count. That's about 588 rental units at 160 Water. Again, 25 Water Street, there's been talk about 1,300 units. I don't know yet for 55 and for 85 Broad, and I would hesitate to. And again, even that 1,300 unit at 25 unit count at 25 Water Street, the owners there are still very, very early in the development process, so that could easily change. A development program could easily shift.
Yeah, I guess I would ask that, we have another round of this at some point with even estimates and, how this affects us in just terms of every possible quality of life, in terms of just looking ahead to planning. I mean, 2026 isn't forever, even for the first one. And we see so many of these, of course, did succeed. So I don't know if there's some way that we could work with the Alliance on really looking at numbers and, and then the affordability question, I guess, is still out there just for a.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Alice. There are no plans for any affordable housing in any of these buildings right now. There are not the programs in place with 421A having lapsed that would support property owners adding affordable housing at the moment, and that is a question that is way beyond my pay grade right now, and obviously front and center for all of our elected representatives in Albany of how to treat the obvious and unquestionable need for more affordable housing, particularly in communities like Lower Manhattan as these buildings convert. I will say, going back to my earlier comment, it's not easy to make these conversions happen. Obviously the same interest rate environment that is putting a lot of pressure on existing property owners is also an issue for conversions and the cost of looking at some of these bigger buildings. But it's a very important question and something that I do hope we'll see some action from the state government on addressing.
Yeah, I think we should really run with that and really work together with, with those very state agencies and looking into it in terms of planning issues and in terms of affordability issues. So I really hope that happens. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up POPs issues. Many of these buildings you've not identified, of course, have POPs. And specifically, I see there's plans afoot for 200 Water. At what point does Rockrose going to provide the actual plaza plans, enacted for example, Rockrose? And all these pops, I just ask that you be excruciating aware of, now that these become privatized, often lobbies for these residential buildings, that the community still gets whatever it is they're due in each one of these spaces. We have yet to see anything. We see that in 200 Warder, 7 years have passed, we've gotten nothing. So I've just, and that's a question: is Rock Rose going forward, or are we waiting for 10 years till Dwayne Reed is gone and that's that?
I would, Alice, you know that we are big supporters of improving all of these public spaces, and we would like to see all of these public spaces live up to their potential of being real amenities for everybody who lives and works and visits in Lower Manhattan. I'm going to be very, very careful and not comment on behalf of a property owner. I don't want to accidentally misstate their project or misstate what they're doing, and really say that you need to reach out to them to answer some of those questions.
The board should reach out to the developer. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, I mean, it would not be responsible for me, Alice, as a
I
representative of the
appreciate
Alliance,
it. I just
speak
wanted
to
to
somebody
make sure.
else's project, right?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much, Petra
course.
and Josh.
Thanks, Allison. Just on that last point, I would point out that we are regularly asking and communicating with the City Planning Commission on issues like that. Richard and then Tammy, please.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Appreciate the update and the presentation. And of course, Alice asked my questions about affordability here in these projects. Obviously really important. And with the borough president's push to locate opportunities for affordable housing all across the city, all across Manhattan, including Lower Manhattan, maybe we need to get a conversation between the borough president and the state and these property owners. But my question separately has to do, it's just a question, it has to do with the lease rate chart that you had up.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed that, if I read it correctly, that the Class C seems to have improved better, the Class C type buildings better than the other types, the other classes.
I
wondered
wouldn't
why that's the case.
We have that on there. I would not pay too much attention for that. We really don't have that many buildings that you could consider Class C that are listed as Class C. So the vast majority of the properties in Lower Manhattan are A and B, so that number can be influenced by a very small sample size of buildings.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard. Tammy?
So I might take some of this a little bit further, Josh and Taina. I'm going to ask if the Downtown Alliance would work with us. I mean, one of the things that is incredible, having lived here pre 9/11 through the quote rebuilding of 9/11, there was a sweet spot in Lower Manhattan where we had extraordinary socioeconomic diversity, we had live storefronts, and it was a really interesting balance. That has changed somewhat, as you can tell. And for whatever it is, we are just not a resilient Lower Manhattan any longer, as evidenced by the pandemic and the economics. One could look and say, because we are no longer socioeconomically housed with affordable housing and diversity in housing, which has decreased the amount of people on the streets along with the decrease in the work at home. But let's be quite frank here, Josh, it's not actually viable for people to even live, work at home when we are now in the #1 most expensive neighborhood in Manhattan. So you don't even have the people who work at home who can run out to get lunch to compensate for those who are no longer dining in office, which is why you hear us so often say that we want more affordable housing. I understand that is not the responsibility of the bid. I understand you're a business improvement district focused on business, and the loss of office buildings may not necessarily benefit you either. But it is a juxtaposition and conversation that perhaps I would ask that the Downtown Alliance could partner with us to find a way that there are incentives and improvements and ways to be able to convert office buildings, and find programs available to convert office buildings. and work with us to see maybe doing a seminar on what the downsides and the upsides are, and what programs could be managed to do it. Lower Manhattan has long been left out of many things, and I do believe that we as a community highly need to come together and figure it out. We want robust small businesses and storefronts just like you do, but we also want the affordable housing to be able to support that. So I do see a place where we could come together and meet, and then we could have a robust dialogue, because there is a way to have everything we used to. And whether you loved it or not, I'll give that away. But right now, with nothing but luxury housing being built, we are turning ourselves into the ghost town that is Park Avenue in the evenings. And there is no way you can live, work in Lower Manhattan unless you're well into a six-figure salary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually pushing it back to you and Taina and saying, let's find a way to link together, because in a way, we are committed to the same thing. We want robust small businesses to be able to survive downtown. We want the foot traffic. Tourism is back, but we don't have the residents. We just don't. We don't have the street, with the amount of luxury housing, we don't have the people who are, and you see that with lower enrollment in the schools as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there is perhaps a really good place for us to partner together to do some work, whether it's a seminar, whether it's a panel discussion, but to get the ball rolling so our legislators can move forward with programs, and perhaps we can come up with different ideas.
So like I appreciate the comment. I think it's an important, you do make an important connection between the diversity of the housing stock and the diversity of incomes in the housing stock and support for retail and the vibrancy on the street. I think that's certainly a concern. I would say that our position from the Alliance, obviously we have always supported more affordable housing in Lower Manhattan. It's challenging to do given the cost of real estate here, obviously, as we all know. And I would add to that the cost and the real difficulties with converting some of these larger buildings. I do think there needs to be, if we are going to see affordable housing in some of these larger conversions, there needs to be a proactive suite of workable incentives from the state government to help make that happen, and to help make those finances balance out. The other point I will make is that from our perspective, at the Alliance, and no, sorry, as you point out, Tammy, we are a business improvement district, and our sort of number one concern is the health of businesses in Lower Manhattan, particularly our small businesses and retailers on the street. And I think from that perspective, our real concern here is that we don't want to see these buildings sitting empty, right? Whether we figure out a way, with hybrid work to make some of these older office buildings work still as offices. And I think there's room for that, right? I think some of these buildings will figure out a way, some of these owners will be able to invest in their properties, rethink the way the floor layouts work, and make them work sustainably in the future as office buildings, or we repurpose them as housing, or perhaps there's some third way or some combination in between of the two. But I don't think it is certainly not in our interest as a business organization, and I don't think it's in the community board's interest to see any of these large buildings sitting vacant for the long term. We have to figure out something to do with all this real estate.
Exactly. And I would, you represent the building owners, and frequently that means the building development community. And I recognize that you are not there to sell affordable housing, but I do think that we would agree we need not empty buildings. And there is a way for us to come together to create something new that gets everybody, like I said, everybody a little bit disappointed and everyone a little bit pleased. I think that's the ultimate answer here. And we in Lower Manhattan need to lead this very specifically, because unlike many other areas of the city, we can turn back and say, we know what 421A looked like, what 421G looked like, and we know what the expiration of all of them look like from a residential perspective, from a building perspective, from a commercial perspective. We've already built and rebuilt 3-4 times in Lower Manhattan. If you think 93, 2001, Sandy, 2008. I mean, I can go back through and list all the down sweeps that we've had and the diversification of what we are, but we really have an important perspective that I think we should be the ones leading this dialogue. And I look to the Alliance to partner with the community board to find ways that we can have this discussion about residential conversions that may be looking futuristically. A work from home is a viable solution in some of these buildings because they're already outfitted as offices. So finding a way to combine that and really change the dynamic. I don't think we're ever going back for some industries, not all, but for some industries to the 5-day, 60-hour a week work week for people. It's just generationally not there. So that's one. I would really love if you could, on a sort of, now that's the big picture. On the small picture, we'd really love whatever help you can get in asking the lovely owners of 200 Water to come back to us and give us an update. We know they are your constituents. We would love to hear more information on what their plans are and have an update from them. I can wait for the city agency, but truly the one making the conversation is the client of yours. So if you can encourage them to come back to us, that would be great. And as far as the public space and the POPs, we do need to have a real careful consideration and look at every single one of them, especially the buildings that are converting. It's a little scary. And then we would love to do a resolution. I can't imagine anybody in our community not thinking a way to get to Newark without having to take a car, and potentially getting stuck and missing a flight, hint, hint. Would be a bad idea. So whether it's the Port Authority who comes, we certainly would love to have that kind of a hub in Lower Manhattan. And I'd love to hear that and see that. And thank you for the update on the bus route. Yes, I do remember it coming to the community board. Yes, I do remember with us being supportive of it. And I don't think that we need to do another resolution on that, but I will go back and take a look. Taina, can you confirm for me, was that was in the original plan that you gave us pre-pandemic, correct?
The pre-pandemic plan definitely included the U-turn, and that was the one that everybody was supportive of. We had some changes that we were throwing out there for the east side for Water Street, which we've scrapped. We're not going to make any changes there. Those are the ones where I think people had concerns about on the board. So we're
Yes.
really just moving ahead with the U-turn, which at that time, everybody agreed that sort of made sense. And there was, we didn't do it. I didn't get a resolution, I will say, because there were questions about the other parts of the route. So whether or not the committee wants to give us a resolution so I can forward on to DOT, that would be great. So it's sort of up to the committee.
And you did make changes in Battery Park City already, because I remember 276 went to the Department of Transportation to request that stop back, but that has not returned.
That has not returned, and that was we wrote a letter in support to DOT to support that stop. For whatever reason, DOT was opposed to that. I will say, new leadership at DOT, there's new people there. Maybe it's worth sort of having a new conversation about that particular bus stop being reinstalled or added back.
Yeah.
So the only change we are proposing to do is this change of the U-turn. That's the only thing we're going to change to our route at this time.
Awesome. And then my last question has to do with the public art and the public space. So we would love an opportunity to be able to include any kind of comment. We understand that it's privately owned public space and that the public enjoys it it is privately managed. But I will say, you guys do a great job and it's beautiful additions to the landscape. But somehow it would be nice somewhere in the process to include any kind of public input on it in terms of length of time. And art is subjective to the viewer, whether you like it or not. That's not the question of the place, but some kind of public input would be lovely.
Absolutely. I appreciate the comment, Tammy, and I would love to find a way to do that in a way that works and makes sense. we have done that in the past. I think you joined us and were part of a jury for the selection when we did our Broadway storefront activation with Art on the Ave. We may do something similar to that in the fall, or a similar sort of project, and that would definitely be a great avenue for public engagement. I think that the challenge for us with some of these bigger installations like we're doing this spring is that it is so difficult to figure out, how we place these things and how we site them, and how we make that work is really a lot of effort, and very challenging. In an ideal world, we'd have a situation where a property owner would say, yeah, we'll let you sort of put together a selection group and a jury and figure out what's going on in our property. I would love to do that. We haven't found anybody who's willing to sort of give us that degree of freedom yet. We'll definitely take it under advisement and see if we can make that work in the future.
You can use the storefronts as an example of it working well and
Yes.
it's not being crazy.
It's a little
Another-
bit easier to put a painting in somebody's storefront than to put several thousand pounds of equipment on a plaza. But we'll figure out if we can make it work.
And then on a positive and hopeful note, I really actually enjoyed, and that's a personal note, the art that you did in the windows, and I did think it added a lot of beauty to otherwise empty storefront spaces. And I hope that you were able to work with the constituencies to do that again.
Thank you. That was a fun project.
Yeah, I think it was great for the artists, and I think it's great for Lower Manhattan to get that kind of a vibe instead of being empty, to have it be artful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Rosa and then Paul Goldstein, and I want to wrap this up. Rosa, you had your hand up. Going once, going twice.
She's joined by phone, so she may just need to take a second to get the audio going. Rosa,
why don't
we
we-
can't hear you if you're speaking.
Let's go to Paul Goldstein in the meantime, and then Rosa will try to figure out what's going on with you, and we'll come back to you. Paul?
Okay, thank you. I was just going to say a couple of words about Lisberger Plaza and the artwork over there that I know the Alliance also has had some involvement with. That's a project that only recently the community board are trying to deal with. As I'm sure you know, they're trying to put up some artwork to recognize the Little Syria history there and recognize that. So what we were told was that prior to coming to the community board a couple of weeks ago, they've done some rather extensive consultations with the Alliance on what the plans were for that space, which some of us found a little unusual because the community board really has a more formal role, or should, with the Public Design Commission as opposed to the Downtown Alliance. And we sort of ran into a similar situation a few years ago, I guess it was already, with Fearless Girl and how that sculpture was also handled. So, I mean, it's not exactly your fault that the city and the Parks Department came to you rather than the community board, which I think they should have to do their consultation.
Thank you for your question, Paul. I did watch. I wasn't able to attend the meeting when Parks came with the sponsor, the organization that is the group that they presented to the committee. I watched the meeting the meeting on YouTube. I wasn't able to attend, and I will say I can share sort of very clearly that the main reason why the Parks Department and this group met with us once. It wasn't an extensive process, right? So it was one meeting, and it really was focused on they wanting us, the Alliance, to maintain the art, right? To take financial responsibility over over the components of the art in the park. It wasn't about design, it wasn't about the other things. It was really looking for us to be a maintenance partner in that in the piece, which our board was very clearly not in support of. So that's what they came to us about, which we told them we weren't going to be able to do. I think the Alliance, before my time, did take over some art, and the park there before was called Lisburger Park, and it became a problem for us long term, and something that we're not art historians. That's not what we do. We pick up garbage, we sweep, we power wash. We're not the people really meant to do that. Um, and therefore we really just conveyed that message to them. And our work in Lisburger Park is done without an agreement with the Parks Department. Actually, we do it because we think that it's important. We obviously love the park. It's named after our former president, so we have a lot of love for it, as we do with our other spaces. So our main focus was, they asked us about that, and our main concern with them was we wanted to be sure that the art, once it's installed, if it gets approved, right? I don't know what's going to happen at PDC, that the art wouldn't cause any damage to the irrigation and the planting beds, for us to sort of do what we do. So I would just respond to say that it wasn't an extensive thing with us. We did not weigh in on the art. The art went through a percent for art version process, that there was a selection process. There was a meeting I went to, many people came, and some community board members came at the time. I think Anthony Notaro was there at the time, goes back. So I'm happy to answer any other questions, but that's sort of what I
I'm
would say
just
about that.
curious, the proposal calls for rather extensive changes to the park with all the artwork all over the park. I mean, I don't want to try to characterize it extensively,
Right.
but it is a rather extensive change. Are you
Yeah, and I
planning
think,
to take any kind of position on what's being proposed, or no?
we shared with Parks and the group, and I forget the woman's name. I'm so sorry. I forget the woman who spoke on behalf of the WSHS. Washington Street Historical Society. I could we thought they presented to us more pieces in the park, actually, more than what you saw. The one comment we made is that we thought it was a lot. We thought it was just a lot of pieces in the park, and we thought it sort of just felt like it was too much. It was sort of slided one way, too heavy. And we thought, just big picture, we thought it sort of needed to be scaled back a little bit, which the version that you saw was scaled back. So that was our sort of
Interesting.
comment.
Okay, so this is the scaled back version. Okay, okay.
I want to be completely transparent with you, right? There's no reason. That was what we told to them. We thought we think the park is beautiful. It looks gorgeous. People use it. It's a great sort of thoroughfare. It's a wonderful space. And we thought that the components were just a little too much for such a small space.
Okay, thank you. That was very helpful.
Sure. Happy.
Thanks. I want to give Rosa a chance to unmute. Rosa, you'll be last, and we do want to wrap this up. It's almost 7 o'clock.
Can you guys hear me this time?
It's a little hard, but
Hello?
we can hear you if you want to give it a shot.
Okay, sorry. Two questions. Number one was, in terms of the office stock and conversion into housing, is there any possibility for multi-use within the larger commercial buildings that are majority vacant, i.e. converting perhaps the top half to residential while maintaining the bottom half of commercial? That was question one. And then question two was, do we know whatever happened with the Bank of New York Mellon POP? Because I know that they had said that it was closed during coronavirus, but that was supposed to be a POP that was publicly accessible. And as far as I saw, it never was, and security kept turning us away. And I was wondering if anybody had an update on that. And if that is still closed, when we can expect that to be open. Thank you. And I'm going to mute myself back since I'm noisy.
Sure. Thanks, Rose. I'll take the second question first. That's easier. I have no idea. I do remember that being an issue. And I recall that we had some conversations with them a long time ago, but I have
Yep.
lost the thread on that, and I'm not sure where they are with
And
that.
yes, we lost. I will say yes. Unfortunately, we lost the thread. And I knew they were going to do work to their outdoor space. They were going to do work to the plaza outside, not the inside public space, but the external one. And we were working with them. Some folks on our team were working with them on putting Wi-Fi in the plaza, free Wi-Fi, extending our Wi-Fi service to that plaza. And that was sort of the last I heard of it. So I'm totally fine to sort of check back in with them and see where things are with this with the space, and to find out about the accessibility question. I'm sort of happy to do that.
And on the first question, which is a really interesting point, and Rosa, I do hope that we see some of that creative thinking from property owners. Looking at some of these buildings that have a huge amount of square footage and the challenges that owners will face converting the entirety of that square footage to residential use, I think that they will be forced to be a little bit creative in terms of either preserving some of that as office space. I could certainly see scenarios where owners look at converting part of a building and keeping some office space, especially on lower floors, and sort of rebranding that and repositioning that as kind of boutique-y sort of office space that's attractive to smaller tenants. But that is still to be determined.
Thanks, Josh. And I'll say for the committee too, we haven't heard anything more on the Bank of New York building. But Gerald, I see you have your hand up. If you can make it quick, we're going to move on to the next topic.
Sure, thanks, Patrick. Actually, I was hoping Alice could chime in on this. Does she know anything? Because I had heard that the public plaza was a done deal. We're not getting it back. Is that incorrect?
Wow, I haven't heard that. That's not. No, I don't know the answer to that, but it's something we clearly
don't know.
And we're
We don't
clearly
know.
getting a follow-up from Taina, right? As I understand
And
it.
who makes the final decision on that, Pops? What New York City agency makes the final decision?
I think it's city planning, right, Josh? It's a pop space. I think it's city planning.
I would think so, depending on what they're looking at doing. If they're looking at making changes to the space, it would likely be DCB, yeah.
Thank you.
Presentation of the application we were presented with was the Department of City Planning application, which we understand ultimately was approved, but whether work began and whether the scope of that work changed since we last saw it is something we need an update on. And we'll look into that more. And Taina, thank you for offering to look into that simultaneously.
Yeah, I'll see if I find out anything. I'll let Lucia know, and hopefully we can get you guys an updated update. An updated update.
Thanks very much. Taina, Josh, thank you so much for your time, as always. Great to hear from you. Great to see you both.
Bye.
And we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you for having us. Have a great night.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks. We're going to move on to our second topic, and I'm going to turn it over to Lucian to give us a quick rundown. This is really just a committee members preview of a couple of applications that are coming down the pike, including the City of Yes carbon neutral zoning text amendment, as well as an application for 60 Wall Street. So, Lucian.
Thank you, Patrick. Hi, everybody. As Patrick said, I'm Lucian, and I'm the district manager of CB1. Happy to be with you all tonight and give you all just a preview of the process that is going to be before you all sometime next month or in the future. It's been a long time since we've had to handle anything ULURP or somewhat semi-ULURP related. So it's just good to have a refresher of what you all will be asked to do. Now, there's two items that we had on the agenda here that we want you to be prepared for. One is the City of Yes carbon neutral citywide text amendment, and the other is a different land use action altogether. It's an individual application from a private building owner to reconfigure a internal pop space, and that's going to be referred to as 60 Wall Street. So both of those are separate land use actions with separate applicants, and but they also very different in what they're looking to do. One is going to edit the actual text of the zoning resolution and how it applies to almost every building in the city of New York, with the hopes that they improve the carbon outlook for future generations. And the other is going to be a specific geographic point in Lower Manhattan. Both of these are considered to be non-ULURP. A full-blown ULURP has a process that you all are very accustomed to: 60 days with the community board, 30 days with the borough president, 50 days with the city council, and then there's a potential call of veto by the mayor. This is going to be different in the sense that for 60 Wall Street, it may be as short as a 30-day review period, which is coincidental with the borough president's review period, and there's no hearing. The citywide text amendment is a 60-day review period, and that's it. And it goes to City Planning Commission. So, and I have to ask about a hearing for that, but I do assume there will be a hearing. So either way it goes, we don't have the well, for the citywide text amendment, we have more of a luxury of time and 2 bites at the apple. For the 60 Wall Street, we probably are only going to get 1 shot in committee to ask all the questions we need to ask and formulate a resolution. So the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I need to make sure everyone has access to all of the information. And I'm going to take this opportunity to cruise around the website with you. And that way, you know how to find information for not just this project, but any land use project. So if you go to the chat, I'm putting a link in, and you'll see it's called 60 Wall Street DCP ZAP entry. So the Department of City Planning has the zoning application application portal. And so I've taken the liberty to go straight to the 60 Wall Street entry in that portal via that link. So we're gonna all click on that together, and I'm gonna put it up on my screen so you can see what I'm doing. 1 second, and I'll pull that up. All right. So this is what you all are seeing, or should be seeing on your own computers for those of you who wish to click the link. Zoning application portal, it's going to give you lots of information right in front. This is the city planning has or used to have a really active team of programmers who are developing really awesome ways to bring their information to the public, but they use these tools internally. Applicants use these tools. So there's a lot of power here, and it's a big leap forward from how we used to have to find this information. For 60 Wall Street, you'll see they have the applicant team, who's the name that's on the application, a project brief. Right below this project brief, there's a little a line that says public documents and a triangle. If you click that triangle, it'll drop down and give you 2 more. Filed land use package. I'll click on that. You'll see a mess of files here. These are everything that they filed with the Department of City Planning. So everything the City Planning Commission will be reviewing is here. If there's ever additional filings, you'll find them here as well. In the future, when we file our recommendation, they'll be available to be downloaded and viewed here. But there's nothing filed because this has not been certified yet. The City Planning Commission is not certified this is complete. Today, there was a review session. I checked the calendar. This was not on the calendar. So it will not be certified today. It may be certified at the end of the month and then referred to us a couple of days after that at the earliest. But there's no telling when CPC is going to hear this. So we have a little bit of time to prepare. I want to point out the 2 items of greatest interest are the project description and discussion of conditions and findings. Also, there's drawings So the previously approved drawings will give you a sense of what it looks like now. For those of you who aren't accustomed to reading architectural drawings, it may take a little bit of just looking through. I will say that I've looked at 7A and 7B already. They're both clearly scans of old school, big architectural drawings, so you'll have to scroll a lot. The 8 is produced on a computer, and it's much easier to look at. Cleaner. So it's the new drawings. And then photographs, area map, these are things that will not be no surprise to you. You all know what the space looks like, though they will be kind of pointing out camera angles of interest. So definitely, do take a look at those as well. But I'm going to focus more on pointing you out to these findings. I'm going to move some windows around here. I'm not going to go through them because it's not my place to go over these projects. So I don't want to discuss these at all because I'm not the applicant. I don't want to represent their, the same way Josh doesn't want to represent someone else's project. They will come and they will show their own project, but I'm only just showing you just so you see what these files look like. So this is the first download. It has background, description of the surrounding area, but then you get down a little bit and they'll talk about the project description. So here's a proposed project. I'm not going to stop and go over it because that's for later. You all can do this at your own leisure. Also, if you have any trouble with this, I'll show you. I can work with you to download this information. So that's what you're seeing there. Does anyone have any questions on accessing this information? Okay. A couple things I also want to point out to you. You can get a sense of where it is in the process. You'll see that under completed items, there's not much. They've paid their land use fee, and there maybe city planning is waiting on some additional filings. Unclear. But once it gets reviewed, then we'll see this pop up. So this is all the steps that they have. Some of these are coterminous for this type of review. I'll remind you. So this is all the information you'll need. I'm going to click on just this part so you can kind of see what the first page is when you first look at this portal itself. But there's a lot going on in the city. If you want to know what's happening in CB1, there's a couple things you're going to do. First, you'll look at project status. Well, I'm asking right now to show things that are in public review, so are currently in process or have been flagged as noticed. So you also can say what has been filed. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing that we can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to Community District. I'm going to turn that on. Then I'm going to scroll down to find Manhattan 1. And then I'm going to say filed. Here's everything that has been filed. Now, doesn't mean that there's going to be certification or ULURP is going to begin for any of these. These things get filed all the time and they never happen. So you'll see that we have filings from December 21, February 22, September 22, and then of course 60 Wall Street, March of 23. So these things can languish, they can wait for a while, and then sometimes they do get posted up and certified and sent into the process. If you want to see what you've seen already, I can click on complete. It'll take a second. But there's all sorts of projects here that you'll remember that you looked at in the past. And a lot of information there. So definitely click through. But this is a great tool. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to walk you through it. Now, for City of Yes.
Excuse me, Lucian, but while you're in there,
Yeah.
could we just look up on the question that was asked earlier as to the status of the other project? I mean, if it's up there.
Project.
Can we do that let's
Yeah,
get through
we can
the
do that.
City of Yes stuff. I'd
Okay.
rather,
So for City of Yes, I'm putting a second link into the chat. This page. This page will just give you an overview. A lot of information that has been put out. They have a public info session video that they posted, and then right under it is a link. Oh, you can't see it. See it. You all still see the zoning application portal, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I know why. I know why. Because for some reason, this computer. Oh. Sorry. Okay. See, yes. There's a little video. You can watch that. We'll go through the slides, but you can also look individually at the slide deck with this link right below it. And then there's, it's their copy. They're selling it, and then the FAQ as well. But I definitely recommend watching this and then clicking through on these slides at your leisure. I have them already downloaded. There's a separate link that I sent to the email to the committee members. So you'll see slides such as this, which has just the summary. Of course, I'm not getting into it because this is not my presentation. Anything may change before certification. So, but please do get a general sense of what they're looking to do and how they're looking to do it. Of course, the facts of the matter will be clear when we actually see the text. But the text is not currently up. I looked through the zoning application portal to see if it's been filed and available to view, but it's not. So this is the best we have at this moment.
okay.
That's it.
Thank you, Lucian. To Alice's point, if you have a second, how easy is it to look up the status of the project? I think it's 101 Barclay is what it's branded now. Brandon, and that's the actual address. If it's easy, great. If it's not, then I don't want to hold it.
Yeah, let me just. What's the alternative address for that? Do you know, then?
240 Greenwich or
240 Greenwich.
200
Greenwich.
Park, I believe, but it's listed under 101 Barclay.
I think the application came to us as 240 Greenwich. I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me take a look. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll pull it up on the screen if I grab it for too long. All right. Give me a second. Pulling it up now. So, completed. You'll see timeline here. Disapproved with modifications. Conditional and favorable. CPC letter. And then that was it.
Okay.
And you can pull the CPC report if you want.
I mean, I think it's just helpful for people when this question naturally comes up that people want to follow up on something that we spent a lot of time on, and win or lose in terms of having any of our recommendations or concerns addressed, folks just may have an interest in following along, and it's a really great resource. Lucian's been, for years, those who know this, and been trying to help all of us work our open data sources that the city has a lot of them, and they're pretty robust. So I encourage everybody to look through this zoning tool, and thank Lucian for reminding us about it, because it is a really helpful way to get around.
I wanted just to pop up. I apologize. Lucian, don't we have them coming to talk about the bollards on the sidewalks?
I need to get that a word back from DOT. We asked them to push it off a month so we could have it in the transportation committee, but barring that, this Friday, I'll have it added to the exec committee for review if they decline to delay it.
And if you could just remind someone to get the FOIL that we still have asked for now for 2 years for the actual architectural plans that are still not been received.
Okay, just a quick scan, no hands up. Anyone in the attendees, no hands up. So Lucian, thanks for that. Again, land use committee members, you have those resources emailed to you earlier today, those links. So please make sure you poke around and look at those. We're not on the clock. It's important to note that we're not on the clock for any of these just yet, but we anticipate being on the clock, sometime in the next couple of months. And this is going to give us a lot to work with. So if people can look through these materials, that way you'll come prepared with even smarter than usual questions to the committee. We'd really appreciate it. With that, I believe we are adjourned. So thanks, everybody, and have a good night.
Bye all.
Thanks.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.